Disney has released a full-length trailer for their live-action Beauty and the Beast. Be our guest as we break it down shot for shot on Screen Junkies News. Less than 2 weeks have passed since we were given our best images yet from the live-action Beauty and the Beast. And now we get to see the Beast and all the magical beings in all their moving CG glory in the official trailer. As we're about to see, there are plenty of shot-for-shot recreations in the trailer, but none of the classic songs many grew up with, even though they have been confirmed to be part of the movie. Alan Menken, who scored Beauty and the Beast in '91, returns to score this live-action adaptation, which will include new recordings of the original songs, in addition to new songs written by Tim Menken and Tim Rice. So Alan Menken and Tim Rice. So they will have some songs for Oscar contention. Saving all that good stuff for the second trailer, Disney? Well, to help me break this down, I've got a couple of buttes with me right now. Mark Andreyko, Roth Cornett, Andy Signal, and over on the tweets, Charlie Feldman. Hi! If you want to join in on the conversation, you can do so using the hashtag SJNews, but should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's roll the trailer. I think there's a moment pretty close to the start, which is nice to see.
I like in all these trailers they adjust the Magic Kingdom
Yeah.
to the tone like they did in Jungle Book.
Yeah. Well, let's pause on this castle.
Because this is actually not the Disney castle, is it, Alicia?
Tell us about it, Ruff.
You tell us about it,
It's
Alicia.
the Chateau de Chambord. Chateau de Chambord in France, but it looks very much like the Disney castle, and it's also the Beast castle in this movie.
Yeah, and this one looks, the real castle is a little bit more flat. It's not quite this, but this looks more, it's a likening to the original cartoon, and I think they want you to be drawn into that world immediately before you're even in the trailer.
I do like the way Disney does this, so it's part of the movie, and it takes you in there straight away.
I'm so curious of the legalities of that, how often they're allowed to change the logo.
That's a really good question.
When is the movie worthy of it?
That's what I was going to say. I'm assuming it's the movie worthy of it. Beauty and the Beast on its own is such a part of popular culture, the first animated feature to be nominated for Best Picture. So you know they really are confident in the source material when they play with the logo.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's keep going because there's another interesting shot that happens pretty close to the start. As we get into it, you see inside the castle, and then there, if we pause there, this is the painting.
Yep.
Yeah, and it looks like, so the Beast in the original story was cursed as an adult, and so we're wondering, and this isn't confirmed at all, if maybe he was cursed as a child, but then he would have grown up as a beast. What are your thoughts, Andy?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know if they're going to go that far from it. I mean, this implies it's the same timeline as with the cartoon for me in this.
Yeah.
And that is him, right? I mean,
Yeah,
the child is
he
him.
looks.
I'm just wondering if they use the child in the portrait because they want to save the actor's face for the reveal when he turns human at the end. We all know what he looks like, but it's showing him in his full
Do
adult
we know
mode.
what he looks like?
Yeah, Dan
Dan
Stevens.
Stevens.
I don't know him that well.
Watch the guest.
He's no
Yes,
Ryan
he's
Gosling, who
great.
was the original choice.
I think he's actually a better choice than Ryan Gosling.
We're gonna get to
But
the
we're
Beast in
leapfrogging.
just a little bit.
So if we keep going, then you'll see the close-up of the child's face, and then we get into this hedge maze. It's winter, and if we pause about there, so you get a quick shot of the Beast, and then there's Kevin Kline as Maurice.
Yes.
Her dad, and this is where Maurice goes astray and gets taken by the Beast, so she has to come rescue her dad, which I think is such like one of the lovely parts of this story. What do you think, Leash?
I remember this shot from the cartoon because of the blood on the white rose. Do you remember that? That was such a image that really stuck in my head. And he does look quite scary as he goes past there. Andy, what do you think about Kevin Kline as the choice of
I think
the dad?
he's a great actor. I'm excited for him. This is his third Disney movie we did the research on, and I think it's a good call. He's going to bring some gravitas, but he can be funny. He can be fun, lovable. It's good. It's a good casting.
And he's got amazing Broadway chops. He
Yep.
knows his way around a musical. So
That's right, yeah. So if we keep going on this trailer, we'll get into, so he
Look at those
Beast,
hoofs. Yep.
goes down, it's
Oh,
all very
good.
scary. And if we pause there,
Ta-da!
there's Belle. Mark, what do you think about the casting of Emma Watson as Belle?
I think it's perfect. I think she is equal parts, from Harry Potter, equal parts feminine and soft and beautiful and powerful and progressive and not being in your face about it. She's just a great person, and she embodies everything about Belle. It couldn't be more perfect casting.
Do you think that also subconsciously because Belle is so smart, right? That's her defining trait. Not only is she beautiful, like our own Alicia Malone, who I adore to pieces. It's true. Not only is she incredibly beautiful, but she's also really smart. Do you think we subconsciously connect her that way because of Hermione?
She's never not going to have Hermione connected to her in some way, whether she likes it or not.
But unlike in the 50s when actors would get typecast, whether you were George Reeves or Adam West, the Hermione holdover, I think, is good because it shows that she can play an intelligent woman who is still embraces her femininity.
Plus, I think that's her in a nutshell. I think what she stands for personally, Emma Watson, with her He for She campaign. She does that great book club as well with lots of feminist readings.
And she went to that little community college, Harvard, I believe.
That little
too,
one
so,
you may have heard of. So I think that she wouldn't choose a role without
And she's being
that.
smart because she changed the backstory here, so she's the inventor, which I really like because it actually gives her a better reason. And they were joking that she has time to wash her clothes, or she makes machines that'll wash the clothes so she can read her books. Like they're thinking this through to make her more independent and smart, and it's good.
And we can keep playing on this while we talk.
Yeah, it's also a reason that the townspeople treat her differently because if she's an inventor, then she's unusual in this world.
I'm an inventor. That's what
I'm an inventor.
Transformers.
Yeah, so we keep going on this trailer, keep playing forward. And you see her walking into the castle. She doesn't know what's up there. She is with her dad. And coming up soon, wait for it.
Show yourself.
Reveal your...
And that's our first look, first proper look in a trailer of the Beast.
He's hot.
Yeah, well, so Dan Stevens, as we were mentioning before, I certainly know who he is, not only from Downton Abbey, but this seems to be like the perfect marriage of Cousin Matthew, who is this heroic figure, this romantic figure on Downton Abbey, and the character he played in The Guest, who is really terrifying.
If you haven't seen The Guest, watch it immediately. It's so fantastic.
He's but he's both of those things, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I hear that.
Yeah, you have to watch it because there he shows that he can turn on a dime. He can be super charming in The Guest, and then he turns and you're not sure about him. Definitely one to watch if we keep playing forward because we get a better look at the Beast later on in the trailer, but we'll keep watching because coming up next is a very iconic part. Let's pause there. It's the rose.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about the cursed rose.
Oh, the rose. So basically, once this rose dies, he can never reverse the curse. So it's like it's basically a ticking time bomb in the form of a beautiful rose that helps heighten the tension throughout the story.
It conveniently loses its petal right before that happens.
And then we also just want to talk about Glenn Keane, who's the animator, was drawing on a lot of different animals for the Beast, and I think that you can see it in his face. This is a very different looking Beast than we've seen previously. And what do you think of the look, Andy?
See, I think it's too humanoid in the face. Like they're trying to get his face in there, and it sort of bugs me a little bit because I think they could have gone more Beast-esque. Or more, I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of like an animal look. It looks like a human mixed with a deer.
Well, it looks like a deer and a lion.
I think that the curse of our technology is you have to get these trailers out months before the movie opens. And what happened with Ang Lee's Hulk? There's CG that's going to be tweaked. The movie's going to look different than this. We're 5 months.
Oh, his face is going to look different than that, though.
There's going to be detailing.
His face still has that more humanoid front, which I'm just saying I wish they would have just gone a little bit more creative with. Like the Beast looks like a.
But what works in a cartoon, I think, is really hard to do in live action. You have to have as much human in the eyes as possible.
But does he look scary?
Well, not because he's crying by a flower, but later when he fights the wolves, he looks terrifying.
We'll see a shot,
they don't really want him to look too scary because you have to also like him. So keep playing forward. Yeah, you see his face in action. He sees Belle there. And then if we pause there...
It's Lumiere and Cogsworth.
Played by Lumiere is Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
Which I just sort of love that casting. He looks a little different here, a little more human than we've seen him previously.
Can I say the mean thing?
Yes.
He sounds like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in The Walk.
Okay.
It's my French accent.
Or Jerry Orbach in the original.
And don't get me wrong, Lumiere is actually one of my favorite supporting Disney characters. As a kid, I loved him. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt.
But even Ewan McGregor, he started doing interviews about this role and talking about it. And he said, because he's married to a French woman, he said his wife is so disappointed in him and says his accent is terrible. But it's too late for him to go back and fix it.
See, that's not good.
So that's not good. We also have the clock. which is played by Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I'm into that.
You think that's good casting?
Yeah, he'll play an old
What's his
grumpy
name? Cogsworth.
Cogsworth.
Yeah, I remember Cogsworth from the animated film, and I like his little face there. He's cute.
Yeah, they're going realistic with the faces. They're all hidden and painted on in clever ways.
I like this. I think you have to depart from the cartoon in the designs of these characters, because to have them human-sized and like people in suits like in the musical, that would be even weirder. That would be creepy and disturbing.
It's
I
hard
like that
when
and this makes it more tragic. The curse affected them. They're in these little objects. They're diminished as people. I think there's something really
And they're part
poetic.
of their humanity is still there.
And if we keep playing, then we see one of the cutest characters, the one I remember from watching the animated film.
I had one of these as a kid.
Did
that
you?
Yeah, you could wind it up and it.
Oh yeah,
it
so
did
there
the
you
song.
see them in action. You see get the sense of the scale there. But
here
here,
it is.
Chip. I remember Chip. Chip is so cute, and this time voiced by an up-and-coming young actor.
Yes, Nathan Mack what a great first role, right?
Is he from the Disney stable? Is he on one of their 5,000 shows?
Maybe.
Where they grow them in the lab?
Yeah, it could be. Andy, what do you think about the face on the teacup? And then if we keep going forward,
Yeah,
you'll
it's sort
see
of, they're going
Mrs.
like
Potts.
Moana does this cool effect where his 2D tattoos dance on the 3D sort of figure, and so it looks like they're doing a similar approach here where they're going to animate it sort of
Here's
2D
Mrs.
style,
Potts.
which I think is a clever way to do it.
Mrs. Potts is Emma Thompson, and this is a little bit different design, and I think it was probably pragmatically they had to go this way. So like they can't have the sprout of the teacup be her face in this one. I think it works less in live action.
Yeah, we were talking, Mark, how that would be kind of creepy if it was her
big-
nose.
Yeah, with the
moving
nose
around.
moving it just becomes really unintentionally sinister. I
I
think
think
this looks great. I love
she
the
looks
idea of
great.
the old bone china decals being the
Looks
expression.
very fragile.
Yeah, very fragile, and I love the casting of Emma Thompson. I think that is brilliant. So keep playing forward, because then we get to a very iconic shot.
They
so
look
these
great.
are the wolves.
These
they look
wolves
good,
look
right?
like they were borrowed from the Jungle Book. They just changed the color a little bit.
I'm sure Disney has learned a lot from doing the Jungle Book,
Mm-hmm.
because those animals were so realistic, and it's important, Mark, to have these wolves look really terrifying and scary.
Oh, it is absolutely. The thing about Disney movies that people, everybody thinks Disney warm fuzzies. The thing about Disney movies that kids love is it scares you just enough. You learn what you can take. I mean, Pinocchio's terrifying. There's the Dumbo is terrifying. So to have some edge in these movies makes the sweetness even sweeter.
Yeah, I like that. And this is shot for shot from the cartoon, and Roth, I just love how she gets that stick.
I know. And then
Goes for it.
if we go forward just a little bit, we're going to get another look at the Beast's face, where I actually think he does look really scary.
The one time, yeah.
And then and it's a line, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. This is a line
Look at
they're
his
writing.
teeth.
Yeah, so the animator pulled from inspiration the mane of a lion, the head of a buffalo, the brow of a gorilla, tusks of a wild bear, legs and tail of a wolf. Although they look more pan-like, they look sort of more those hooves to me.
Yeah.
I think that it's a tricky thing that they have going into live action to make this realistic, but not so scary that it'll no longer work for a little kid, right? Do you think that this is too scary for your son who's 4?
No, I mean he doesn't look scary up until this point. Like what I mean by scary, just like sometimes you see like a dog right in the street, and it's like there's a little bit of a scare to him, but then you get closer, like you're just as full of like that's what the Beast always was to me. He still had that off-putting like initial like whoa. I don't get that from the non. He has to go rah to frighten me, which is a little bit of I want him to be off-putting right away.
I want a gif of that. Rah! I also think he has to look somewhat nice, because you want to believe that Belle will fall for him.
Sure, but that's
as
why I use
well.
like the dog analogy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you do
But
fall
also,
in love
too,
with it.
cuddle.
Yeah.
Notice that the scariest moment in the trailer of him being intense is him saving Belle. It's not him intimidating Belle. If
Good
he was that
point.
scary when he said, "Get out of my house,"
Well, he is in the cartoon.
but it's a cartoon. There's also the differences in nuance
can go
between the
forward
live
a little
action.
bit.
Yeah,
But
if
yeah,
we
you're
keep
right,
playing
But the scariness
forward
here is
now.
in protection of our heroine, not intimidating her.
And
Yeah.
you see him fighting the wolves, and then it cuts back to one of our favorite shots. If we keep playing and we pause just a little bit further, you'll see that it's just such a beautiful shot with her face in the background and the rose.
Right.
It looks gorgeous. This is directed by Bill Condon, who, I mean, many people say, he's the Twilight guy, but Mark, he did a couple of, he did some great musicals as well.
No. He won his first Oscar for writing Gods and Monsters, which introduced Ian McKellen to a lot of Americans prior to the X-Men
So they're
movies.
working together again.
Yeah, they've been longtime friends. He did Mr. Holmes, the Sherlock Holmes movie with
Yeah,
Ian
that's
McKellen
right.
last year, which is another movie that not enough people saw.
I love that movie.
He was nominated for an Oscar for his screenplay for Chicago, which made the Broadway musical work. He came up with the whole device and the structure of it being in her mind. He also did Dreamgirls.
I'm gonna say too, those are the best Twilight movies.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's a phenomenal director, and he's going to deserve every penny this movie makes because it's so nice to have him being given a budget for something. And he's passionate about musicals. He loves this genre. So we couldn't be in better hands. This is my favorite Disney movie animated. I couldn't think of a better director to make this movie.
I think he also has said pretty openly that part of the reason for doing Twilight for him was so that he could go on and do whatever other movies he wanted because he'd make enough money off of it to be able to go and be.
That is very smart. Okay, we'll keep playing because we haven't seen one major character yet, but we get a shot of him. There he is, Gaston!
They're holding them off.
Luke Evans.
Does he seem a little more, and this is the line I was talking about earlier, and I'm curious what you guys think. Does he seem a little bit
angry
more
there.
intense and mean
I think they're hiding
than
it.
goofy in
'Cause
this one?
the buzz I've heard is that he's awesome in this
I've heard he's
movie.
great, yeah.
So it's like I think they're just saving some stuff, which I'm all about. But I think he'll still have that Gaston moment.
I also think this trailer is a little edgier than it would be normally because the people that know Beauty and the Beast, we don't need to see the songs. We're going to go. They can have our money. This might be a little bit of reaching across the aisle, as it were, for people that might be like, I'm not going to see that stupid cartoon because this has enough edge to it. We don't see him singing Gaston. We don't see him juggling eggs. We don't see him with the girls on the street. We
see
just see him as
fire.
the.
Well, they're setting the realism up, I think, which is what you got to do since this is now a live action update. And I think they did a good job of it.
I think so too. I mean, I think it looks great. The town looks very witch hunty
Is
in
this
a
the part
way
here
that.
coming up? Yeah.
Not yet, but we'll get to that. But if you keep playing, there's a great shot of something that Emma Watson particularly wanted for her character of Belle. Well,
Ooh.
first we get this beautiful moment,
like the
and then
Enchanted
if you
Christmas
pause there,
moment.
she got her library.
She got her library.
Yay, which is a dream come true for Belle, who loves reading, and I like that she really wanted to put that part
That
in.
should be a dream come true for everybody. If this
Oh,
movie
yeah.
makes kids fetishize books,
Yeah.
its job is done.
I often Google book nooks and reading nooks in libraries just to salivate over the pictures.
I still
My
like
wife follows
physical
my wife follows Instagram hot dudes with books.
Books, yeah. Oh, dudes
Me too.
reading.
I follow him.
Yeah, me too.
Turn on.
the smell of the real books, though, that I do the Kindle, but I just miss the smell of a real book.
I do a real book for that
Yeah.
reason, and particularly a used book when possible, because it has that smell. Okay, if we keep moving forward, there's also a very iconic
There's a
scene.
nice bright one of the
there.
There it is.
That looks like
I
the
mean, this looks
cartoon to
great.
me, doesn't it?
That looks
It's
great.
amazing.
That's the traditional dress, and I think this is where they're getting it right in terms of honoring what we love about that cartoon. Because who doesn't love Beauty and the Beast?
See, here's what's weird though. Can I play devil's advocate? Because I think this is great, but why are we like, yay, it's shot for shot? Like when they did this for Psycho, we were like, boo! Like,
I think
why is
because
it okay now?
Animation to live action.
Because one is animated to live action, it's a different thing. And two, this is obviously not a cheap movie. All the money looks like it's on the screen. So
For sure.
if you're a smart business person, you're going to show people what they want to see. And then, it's like wrapping your dog's pill in salami. This is the salami. We're going to see stuff that's changed because there are going to be changes in this between the cartoon. So you want to get the people in the seats and then trust that Bill Condon and Lyndall Wolverton and the people that worked on this are going to give us a little bit more.
And there are new songs in this. You
Sure.
know, Bill Condon has said that he fought to have it be a musical. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was very important to him that it was a musical. But they are adding new songs, so we have to imagine there are going to be some changes ahead.
Yeah, and I think it's smart, like you said, Mark, to have the first trailer at least be pretty much shot for shot. It gives me chills.
Oh,
When
I get
look at
goosebumps.
that-
I tear up when I was
there's
watching
the
this
shot.
this morning.
The shot. Well, at the end with the sparkly lights. I guess it's still. We can keep going.
It's really pretty. So if you keep going forward, you'll see what you referred to there, which this does look like a bit more of a witch hunt. It
And
reminds
Josh
us of Frankenstein. And then you have Josh Gad as LeFou, which translates to the fool.
I think he's a great choice for this, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like people.
Man, he's just getting a lot of paychecks from Disney though.
Sure.
Take
Sure.
him.
He's good. He's good. And what do you think, Roth, about it looking quite dark? Because that does look quite ferocious.
Yeah, when I first saw it, it did. It sort of feels like Frankenstein, which it should feel because they're obviously drawing on that in this story. I think that's going to be some of the differences that we see here, where certain scenes will look different in a cartoon. They're immediately softened up because you have that separation. to me, if these people were coming after me, like, I would be
Terrified.
terrified.
I'd be like, where are you putting that fire?
Well, the scene in the original, the whole kill the beast number,
it's
it starts out with Gaston singing, then it becomes this whole sort of like Nazi rally where everybody's like, kill the beast. He whips him into such a frenzy that I thought that was pretty intense as a cartoon. In live action, this might be scarier than anything the beast does.
It's like the mob mentality. And if we keep playing forward, then you'll see a shot of the beast going down the
Again, this
castle.
is from
From
the
the cartoon.
original cartoon as well. This is pretty much shot for shot what he looks like when he's falling down.
Yeah, and I think Emma Watson, you can see the pain and anguish on her face there. She really can sell the emotion of this movie.
She's so good. We don't appreciate her enough. She's so
She's so
talented.
good.
Is she going to do an American accent, or is she going to do
No, I
her
think she's
British.
her British accent?
right?
I'm sure it'll be European British.
Yeah.
Because, which is true.
She's better when
because
she plays her real accent.
I don't think she's going to do a French accent, right?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
All I know is when she tries to play American, it's not. It's distracting. I think she should just be who she is.
I wonder why the candlestick is French then. Like, can they just if Gaston
Wouldn't it-
is
yeah.
Gaston going to be French, or is he
You know,
gonna
these
be...
are excellent questions.
Yeah.
Find out.
Well, we
Because
find
she doesn't
out.
want to talk. You don't get to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. We don't see much, but that's what's good with the trailer. Okay, and as we go towards the end, you'll see some lovely shots of them dancing towards the end.
Action.
Action.
Oh, Gaston.
Very proud. Yep.
Yep.
Keep going. I love the way it mirrors the painting.
Sound of music.
Looks like Sound of Music, but that's a
that
shot from the
Opening number.
opening number. And keep going forward. And then that's Plumette. You see it quickly there. And then there. See?
and that's what
look
you're
at zoom in. Goosebumps. Goosebumps.
That is.
Well, I love the light, sparkly lights was such a smart, nice way to because that scene was already so
Right.
good. in
And
the
is this
cartoon.
going to be released in 3D? Because I want to see this in 3D.
That
Well,
would
that
look
cartoon was
great.
like that scene was one of the first time they brought in Pixar to make the cartoon.
Yeah, with the
that-
chandelier
with
and
all that
everything.
effect. It was the second time they did it. We were just talking about this Rescuers Down Under. That flying shot was the first. But
Yeah.
they had to do something to one up that scene because it was already so
camera.
well done.
Pixar, it's called Caps.
Yeah.
And this is the second time they've used it. And it does. I mean, this is how you, in live action, illuminate and demonstrate the idea of just pure magic.
Yeah, I love
this
it so
moment.
much. Before we go, let's check in with Charlie because that's the end of the trailer. Charlie, what are people saying on Twitter? Do they love
A
it?
lot of great conversations. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people like the CG look of the beast, other people do not. But we've got a question for you guys, and a lot of great questions today, guys. Thank you so much for giving me lots of stuff to go for. But the one I liked the best was no music in this, no songs, but what is the song you're most looking forward to hearing recreated in the live action?
Ooh, that's tough.
Tale as old as
Be our
time.
guest.
Be our guest.
There's two.
Be
Be
our
our
guest.
guest because the whole Busby Berkeley aspect of it, but also the dance. This dance, and another one when they're falling in love. If we get a scene of the Beast with the birds and the bird seat on him in the snow, I mean, I'm going to start crying. It's such a great romantic scene, and when he makes that big giant snowball together. If they recreate that in live action,
I mean,
There's
but
not a bad
also
song.
there's
That's
also
romance.
Belle is a
Yeah.
great moment in the town.
Yes.
I think that's what. I think that's the song I'm now looking at. You know what? I'm afraid that we're failing. We can't choose. There's so many good things in this movie. There are great lessons just about sort of like judging a book by its cover,
Yep.
and for Belle, who she is as a character, I think she's such a great role model. And then just, I mean, Beast was cursed because he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah, healing
you
and
know?
forgiving
and
himself.
Forgiving yourself for the times that you're a jerk, which we're all jerks sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, thank you, Charlie Feldman, Mark Andreyko, Roth Cornett, Andy Signor. Make sure you look over here because we're going to have more good stuff for you from Screen Junkies News. Like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Twitter at SJ News, and we'll see you soon.